Hey folks, just wanted to give you guys a quick little briefer primer on how to get some things posted onto your blog websites so that you can begin to see this. I've got my sample blog site up here. It's called mattermatter.wordpress.com. You can actually go look at this. It's publicly available, so go check it out. I've only got one post right now, and this is a post with a link to my resume on it. And then if you look down below, hey folks, I've created a folder. There's a folder here where I've created that's just called resume. It's in Google Drive. And so I took all the different varieties of things that I'd created and I placed them in Google Drive. Let me just show you that here. So here's the folder that I placed in Google Drive. I called it resume, and then I added a Google Doc with my resume on it, and this is what it looks like. Boom. And there is a picture there eventually. Hello, come on. All right, so that's one. I've got a Word document here, Microsoft Word document. I've got a PDF document of the same thing. I have a text version, and I even created a zip file, so a compressed zip file. Now the way that I created all these other versions of these files was really simple. So what I did was I created one Google Doc, and that's the one that had the little goofy picture of me on there. I actually made that too, by the way. And then all I did was I went up here and I chose File and Download, and I could create all these different sorts of versions of that very same file. And some of them worked out better than others. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But anyway, you could see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of that. In the zip version, I placed the text file. And so what I did was I downloaded that text file, which is over here on my screen. I'll show you in the folder. I opened it up just to make sure I knew that it was what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I want. And then I chose right-click on that text file, and then I chose somewhere here. Share with, TextPad, send to, sorry about that, compressed zipped folder. And when I did that, it created a mattherresume.zip, which is the file that I uploaded here. So I've got 5 different files, and let's go back to my WordPress site. So this is my WordPress site. So the only thing I did here was I created a new post in my WordPress, and we'll just have you look at this here. Alright, so I just typed a whole bunch of stuff in here. I added a picture just so you could see that, and I grabbed the link for that folder, for that resume folder there. So here's the resume folder. If you click on share, brings up a folder like this, or a window like this. I usually go to advanced, and what I did was I chose to allow link sharing with anyone with the link is on, and I chose view. I saved it. I copied this URL. I chose done. I went to my document, my blog post, and I pasted it here. I linked to it here. The link option is right here, and then I uploaded an image so you guys could kind of get to that as well. So I'm going to go back just to get you back to this guy here. All right, so if I click on either one of these links in the post, it'll take you to a page that lists all 5 of those files, even if you don't have, even if I didn't specifically share it with you, you should be able to get to these. So one of them is the Google Drive version, the Google Doc. One of them is the Microsoft Word version. One of them is the PDF version. One of them is the text file. Let's look at that text file because some of you had some issues with that. I didn't do any editing with this at all. I just created the text file. I chose download as a text file, and that's what it created. It's not horrific. It's not perfect, so I can go in and edit that if I need to. I'm not going to at this point. That's really not the purpose of it right now. And generally, the purpose of these text file resumes is to be ingested by large databases. So I'm not going to get too crazy with that right now. And again, you've got the zip file, which just takes the text file and puts it into a zip file. When it's extracted, there'll be a zip file in there. All right, so I'm back at my post here on my blog, and that's the mattermatter.wordpress.com. And so this is the end of the post. Now the other thing I wanted to show you here is on the right hand side you can see that there's resume, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of resume here as well. Resume compressed, resume PDF, resume text, resume web version, Google Doc, and then resume Word doc. So 5 different types of files, which is fine. Now the way I kind of end up going back and forth here is to go to WP. I just add that to the end of my URL so I can get to the back and forth to the admin site. When I get to my admin site, the way I got those links to show up there was I went to add new is what I did, and I created some new links. But let's look at the link categories first. You can see that I added a link category called resume, a variety of options to view my resume. Okay, so I created that first, and then I added a new link, and those links were these. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of links in here, but I was actually uploading my resume compressed, resume PDF, resume text, and if I edit any one of these, there's only a name and a link. I didn't even put a description in there. Okay, so I just gave it a name. I gave it the URL for the shared version of that specific file. So not the folder, but the specific file. And I went in, I got that, I copied it, and then I pasted it in here. So for each individual file, so for the PDF, it has its own URL. The text file has its own URL. Each one has their own URL. The only extra things I did here is I put them into the resume category that I created, so they all showed up under there. And then the other thing I did was I chose the _blank target, which means it's going to open up a new tab or a new window, one of the two. And basically, I don't want them to leave my site, my website. I want them to stay in my website and open up a new window. And then the last thing is you need to save or update your link here. And then after I did that, and this might be the tricky part if you chose this route, was if you come into the appearance and in the widgets, what I did here was I've got in my sidebar, you can see that I've got my links, and my links are only going to be the ones that show up in the link category called resume, because that's the only one. I don't want the other one. I just want the resume. I'm going to show a link image, name, description. I'm not going to do a rating. I chose to put in 6, and then I saved it. The problem that you might run into if you're doing it this way is if your theme doesn't support a sidebar, then you're going to need to find a new theme. And I did run into that. My original theme on this didn't have a sidebar, so I had to go choose a different theme so that my sidebar would actually show up. The other thing I had to do was if the link, or whatever it was, the link, what do we call it? The links on the left-hand side of the screen, you need to drag that into the sidebar. So if I wanted to put the calendar, let's say, over here, I need to drag it over here and place it into my sidebar. And so my links was actually over here, and I put it over here just by clicking and dragging. And I'm going to save that, and then you'll be able to see how that calendar shows up now. And again, instead of using all the tools on the left-hand side, I just take out the WordPress. And now you can see there's my resume, there's the search, there's the recent posts, the archives, the categories, the meta, and look, the last thing was that calendar, and I just added that in there. And so this is considered a right sidebar. And that actually was pretty fast to do just by using the links. And those links are just pointing again to my Google Drive. So that's one way, or two ways that you can actually get links into WordPress. You can follow a very, very similar path with the Google Blogger. You could do this almost the same exact thing with that. So take a look with this. This is not going to answer all of your questions. It's going to take a little bit of time. But I would say that this probably took me more time to record this video than it did for me to get these things posted into my website and the links and sidebar to show up. So take a look at this. Let me know what you think. And if we need to do some more instruction, we can do that too. Cool. Thanks, you guys.